Good evening. My name is Steve, and I would like to share with you my conversation with a stranger. I began a conversation with a gentleman named Michael. He was a fellow student in my trench rescue class that I was taking. I began my conversation by asking him how he liked working for a paid fire company. We were both involved in EMS and volunteer or fire service. That was kind of obvious because we were taking a trench rescue class for our respective fire companies. We both enjoy responding on the calls, whether it's paid, volunteer, for our respective companies. We discussed some of the differences between the paid and volunteer service. We discussed what we liked and what we disliked about our particular organizations. And there were some surprising similarities in what we both liked and disliked. Like I said, we both enjoyed the idea of the public service that the fire service provides to the community, whether it's a paid company or a volunteer company. We also disliked some of the attitudes of the officers within our companies. It seems that whether it's a paid company or a volunteer company, you tend to have some of the same attitudes of the officers who are in charge in certain areas. Some of the officers often don't like to take suggestions. It's their way and that's it. They don't like to utilize the knowledge base of some of their responders that they have on the units with them. A lot of paid fire company members have had other careers prior to that where they may have had some specialized training. That's even more the case for a volunteer company because you're drawing from volunteers in the community, all of whom have a different job that they do on a regular basis. Those specialized skills can become very useful on certain types of emergency calls. And a lot of officers don't like to utilize that knowledge. They tend to think that they already know everything they need to know, and that's why they're an officer. This often is not the case. In fact, it's not the case at all, because nobody will ever know everything they need to know. And a lot of times you have to try to show that to the officer so they can kind of get that picture in their head and realize it. And you just hope that that gets through to them and you can show that to them before something happens that could cause a bad reputation for the company. We would like to see individuals within the companies, whether it's officers or other members, to increase the amount of training that they take. I love to take classes. I take classes all the time for the fire company. I love to increase my knowledge base. A lot of the classes I take I probably never ever use with the volunteer company on the Eastern Shore, but I look at it as if that particular incident ever does occur, I at least have some knowledge of how to handle the call. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'll remember everything that I need to do, but I'll at least have an understanding of what's going on, what needs to be done, and what we can and cannot do. I always find conversations with firefighters to be a positive thing. It opens doors, at least for me, by providing contacts within other organizations. And these contacts allow me to obtain knowledge and possible training opportunities that I may not have known about otherwise. The only thing that I think would have made things better with this conversation would be if there was some more input from some of the other members within the class. That was my conversation that I had with a stranger. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good evening.